Hello, we've gone green at Felicity Crafts this week to support the Show the Love campaign that WIs often do to express concern for climate change during February. There are several crafts we already have, like this iris folding one, or this one, or this one, all of which I have teaching to WIs this month, and there are videos already on the YouTube channel, sometimes in a different colourway. Change it to green and you can support it. Felicity and Kevin are wearing green hearts to show the love, and so am I. Now remember, the Show the Love campaign is all about recycling. It isn't about trying to go out and find the most expensive craft items you can find. So we are going to do some recycling, and the heart that we are going to make today is this one. If you have magazine paper like that, you can do it. You can do it out of green paper, you can do it out of white paper, absolutely any paper as long as it is thin enough to fold. That's our main craft, but I'm going to show you a little extra one at the end as well. But this is the one that we're going to do. So you need to get yourself a piece of paper and cut it into strips. Now, to make a sort of fairly decent sized heart, I have got a piece of A4 paper and divided it into 2 centimetre strips as you go along. The easiest way to do that is to get your ruler, putting it down and mark off 2 centimetres at the top in little dots, 2 centimetres at the bottom in little dots, and then line it up like that and cut it out. Okay, so that is what you're going to do first. Make sure your lines are going that way, not that way, just so that we end up with a nice long one. And this is a fabulous craft to do with children. You just need to have your strips measured, but it's a good way to do it. Now, as well as our strips of paper, you can either do this with, I'm just going to have to take that down because the glue stick's actually holding it up at the moment. You can either do it with a stapler or with glue stick. I'm going to show you glue stick today, and then I'll just show you a quick how you do it with a stapler if you want to do that. Either one is absolutely fine. With doing that, we're going to need a ruler and we're going to need scissors, but nothing much else other than that. So when you've got all of your strips, they're about 30 centimetres long, and the good thing about this one is you can adapt this for any paper. If you've got wrapping paper, a smaller magazine, a bigger magazine, whatever, as long as you have strips which are going down in size, you can adjust them. So I'm going to give you the measurements for an A4 piece of paper, but absolutely you can change them. So what you're going to do is you are going to get the 3 longest strips and put them down on your table. So you have 3 long ones. You're then going to get another 2 measured for 20 centimetres. So another 2 are going to be 20 centimetres and they are going to sit next to it. I just have to find my 20 centimetre ones there. 3 30 centimetre, 2 20 centimetre. Fold a strip in half and cut it, and you will have 2 15 centimetre strips. You will put those there next to you. Fold a 15 centimetre in half, and you will have 2 smaller pieces, about 7.5 centimetres, and you will have that. The other ones we don't need at the moment, but we're not going to throw things away, are we? No, we're showing the love. We're going to keep those for another craft. Make some more hearts, do something with it later. Just put them on one side so you don't get confused. So you need to pause the video there and make sure you have got these strips or something similar. You need 3 long strips. You need 2 that are slightly smaller, 20 centimetres, 2 slightly smaller, 15 centimetres, 2 slightly smaller, 7 centimetres. Pause the video there, cut those out and come back. Okay, so now that they're all cut out, I want you to arrange them like this, symmetrically in front of you. So you're going to take one of your longest strips and you're going to put it just to one side. Don't lose it, just put it onto one side. And then you're going to do long, 20, 15, 7, so that they look like that. Then you're going to take the lid off your glue stick. Don't get carried away gluing. We're not gluing all over. We're just going to do a tiny bit of gluing, so get it ready. Pick up one of your longest strips and then pick up the next longest, the 20 centimetre one, and put those 2 so that they are together. Sometimes I tap them on my table like that. They're still free at one end, and at the bottom we're going to put a little bit of glue. half a centimetre, just along like that. And then we're going to put that one on top, line it up. Remember, you have a little bit of time in glue stick to wiggle it around. We're going to hold it. We can wiggle it around because it's still free on one end, but it's stuck on that bottom one. We're going to pick up our next one. We're going to put a little half centimetre of glue along the bottom, not all the way up the strip, just along the bottom. Then we're going to pick up our next one. We're going to put it on top, and we've still got them wiggling like that. Okay, like a sea anemone. We have 1, 2, 3. Can you guess what we're going to do next? You guessed it. We're going to put on that last little strip. We're going to put half a centimetre on here. We're going to hold our glue, and we're going to do that. We're going to do exactly the same with the other strips. Okay, so pause there and we'll do the same thing. So with the power of editing, both of them are done exactly the same way. Put one of them down. Now, just watch me for a second before you do this. We're going to now go to the other end of the strip and do the almost complete opposite. So we're starting now with the smallest one, and we're going to put a centimetre of glue, half a centimetre of glue really, at the top this time here. So just watch where I'm doing it there, and then we're going to fold it over, and you're going to have that. Now, you do not want to look like somebody has sat on your heart, so don't squash. This is the bit where you need to be a little bit gentle. Give that a squeeze, and then we're going to do the same thing with the next strip. So we're going for our next strip up, and we're going to put a little bit of glue on the top, and then we're going to fold it over. So it's forming a little loop. It'll look like an eye or a peacock or something like that at that stage. Can you guess what's coming next? Absolutely. The next strip, we put our half centimetre on top. Now, I keep picking mine up because I'm showing the camera. You do not need to do that. You could just use your table, which would be more helpful, so that you are just folding it over until all of them are stick together, and you end up with that. And I bet you can guess what we're doing next, which is the exact same thing on the other side, because hearts are symmetrical, aren't they? But don't get carried away and stick it together yet. Do that bit. We'll do a bit of magic editing, and I'll see you in a sec. As if by magic, we have two exactly the same, and we are going to stick them together. But before we do, we're going to remember that we put one piece on one side, didn't we, earlier? Now, that is going to form the hanging bit in between. So it's going to be stuck together like that. Now, if you are using your glue stick, you gently put some glue on there, again making sure not to make it look like anybody sat on it at this stage. But if you were using a stapler and you're dexterous with your hands, you could have held the whole thing together, just holding it, and then at that last minute you can secure it all with just one staple. So I'm just going to show you it on this side, but it's fine. Oh, they're so shocked the dollies have fallen over that that's happened. Oh my goodness, let's sit ourselves back up again. You can do the whole thing just with that. Now, it sometimes ends up getting teeny bit squashed, so you just need to rearrange it, and there you have a fabulous heart. Now, of course, it doesn't have to be green. This week we did make some pink ones when I was at school. On this one, I hole punched the strips first, just for a bit of fancy. And then you can do a whole line of them by putting one on top. So when you have your next two, instead of putting that strip on the middle, you just attach them to this one. It also looks good if you do a slightly smaller one. So if you were to take off that last one, so do exactly the same thing again, only don't use that one and use the others, then you'll have a medium one and a little one and a little one, and they can go all the way up. I had a tiny little one to show you, which I made out of thinner strips as well that were left over. You'll notice if you did it on a piece of A4 paper, you end up with one little strip down the side, which is not 2 centimetres, and I just reused that there to make a tiny one. And if you wanted, you could have put that on the top, and you would have ended up there with a lovely chain of hearts. You could make bunting by having them going alongwards. You could just give it to somebody you love. You can hang it in your window. And that is a lovely green heart to support the Show the Love campaign. So this is our second heart that you might recognise. You can go as simple as just cutting. This one is a pizza base with just hearts cut out of a magazine and Show the Love written in the middle. That's recycled and that's brilliant. You're putting it in your window, you are achieving, showing your concern. So this is another one that we can make. Okay, you might recognise that if you've done the autumn wreath with me, because that's going to be the same fold. So this time with our green paper or white decorated in green, whatever you want to do, or a magazine, we're going to cut a piece of A4 paper in half. I think that's A5, but I might be wrong. Please don't write in if you think that I've got the wrong sized thing. Okay, so we have our piece of paper and we have a plate. This is like a side plate, you know, a normal plate. And I'm going to put this on. Now I'm going to use a big fat felt tip pen here, and I know you've heard me say this before. Don't do that. For a start, you might ruin your plate. You don't want your toast off a felt tip, but you just need to use pencil. It's purely so that you can see it. But I really want to show you that I deliberately want my plate not to fit on my piece of paper. So I want us to have this shape. Director, can we see that nice and clearly? Okay, lovely. So we want that shape. So deliberately the plate was not going all the way around, and then we are going to cut that out. So we've got it as this sort of slightly strange shape. I do not know what we would call that shape. It's definitely not a trapezium or a rhombus like we had before. It's a plate with the edge cut off, but that's what I'm calling it. Okay, so we're going to have it like that. Now we are going to concertina fold, and that's the thing that you might recognise. We are going to fold it one way, and then we are going to turn it over and fold it the other way. Can you see what I'm doing with my fingers? I am not folding and not folding it properly. No, 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 no. We know about good folds. When I fold, I do that. I squeeze it all the way down. I'm turning it over and I'm running my fingers the full length of it. And that's what you need to do. Concertinaing all the way down. I'm going to go like that. Do you remember when we did that with a triangle? We got that beautiful leaf shape. We stuck 5 of them together and we got a star shape. And now we're going to do it with some rounded edges to give ourselves a heart shape. But it is the same concertina fold, and it is very important that you make a good fold. It is always important to make a good fold. Absolutely always. Take that as a rule of your whole life. We are making good folds. We've got that like that. And then when we fold it up together, this time, good fold, instead of having a leaf, we have a heart. And we have now got a heart shape. How beautiful is that? Now when you stick it together, don't go crazy in the middle, because you don't want your heart to be completely squashed together. Hearts do have that middle bit, that valley in the middle of them. So you need to make sure that you have got that little valley, and it will give you a gorgeous heart. You can leave your heart like that if you wish. On these ones I just experimented with doing the end. So I just put a little piece of recycled string that was left over from our macrame last year, and not long enough to make macrame, tied it around the bottom. That's a chenille rod, and you know what one of those is, don't you? That just tied around the bottom to make it look good. You can experiment with making the different sizes, making a bigger valley in there, but what you will end up with is a lovely green heart. These would stick together to make themselves into a wreath if that's what you wanted to do. You could hang it up. If you're going to stick it on a card, you're probably going to need a glue gun for that kind of thing. So we have now got 2 green hearts to put in our windows and to #show the love. See you soon.